Welcome.
This man is Billy Ocean. He is a British Trinidadian pop and R&B singer, among the most successful and popular of the 80s and 90s. However, more information is listed on his Wikipedia page, but I'm not going to read it. These are the words I used to introduce the adventure, the collaborative storytelling adventure I ran on the last day of GDC without dying in the center of San Francisco at Yerba Buena Gardens. Billy Ocean kills the ocean, and also you help. Now, there are so many ways this could have gone horribly wrong, and that some would argue it did go horribly wrong by existing. And to them, I would reply, probably. It was the last day of GDC. It was my first GDC. I didn't know everyone would be tired, including me. So there was no guarantee that anyone would show up, let alone that they'd want to participate in a surrealist, absurd revenge fantasy where Billy Ocean claims vengeance on the ocean which birthed and then spurned him. It was an unconventional system. I developed it myself. Within 4 days, I announced it on Tuesday, and I ran it on Friday. So I designed an experience that could be dropped in and out of as people ran to their last meetings and last things of this hyper-stimulated, just panopticon of activity called GDC. And I had no idea if it would work. It could have fallen horribly flat. And let's say it was hugely successful, and everyone loved it, and there were 35 to 40 people gathered in the park under this banner. I didn't know how to explain that to the cops at all. I didn't have a license, I didn't have a contingency plan, and this could have been illegal. So, nonetheless, despite any of the difficulties faced making it, I ran a Billy Ocean Larp on the last day of GDC without dying. And in doing it, I realized that there were a set of rules I could find, not just in that game, but in physical storytelling and design in general, that could help me not only make new things, but ensure that they hit a standard of quality, of safety, and of consistency that an experience with actual live people in real life requires. I'm Xalavier Nelson Jr. I'm putting my Twitter tag because I'm indie. I'm a freelance journalist as well as a game developer and narrative designer. This is a collage of some of the projects I've made or contributed to, including Hypnospace Outlaw. And you can see there that alongside a lot of digital products and a lot of digital mediums, including my column that I have for PC Gamer magazine, as much as I participate in digital spaces, a huge part of my identity lies in physical games. And the big giant secret of physical game design that no one talks about is that you don't create games. You create the environment, you create the setting, the rule set, the theme, the environment that players will use to actually create the experience that you want them to create for themselves and each other. And when you're creating a system where people are building the experience for you, it turns out that there are some tricks you can use to ensure that the proper experience comes about. The first one, of course, is safety. When your players feel safe, they can buy into a fantasy, no matter how crazy or absurd it seems, including this. And when they do feel safe, and when they do are even in a position to claim ownership of an activity, something beautiful happens. People come alive. In the system for Billy Ocean Kills the Ocean and also You Help, there was a player designated the Void, Voice of Impending Doom. And I intended this to be a look verb that all the players could use, and that could allow a shy player to still have an active voice and participation in the game without having to speak up too much. And I intended that I just give them a printed photo of Billy Ocean as a symbol of their office, which I had to explain that to my hotel why I needed that. That was awkward. And that they would sit on the grass and everybody would have a good time. But instead, because I set a rules and code of conduct up front, and I was very consistently putting forward moderation and just a continual enjoyment of all players at the very forefront of the experience. The shy person who took the picture of Billy Ocean got up on the plinth next to me, and everybody playing remained standing for the next 45 minutes in the middle of the park, which again, didn't know how to explain that to the cops, so I'm glad they didn't show up. The second major piece of making a game based off of physical and social design is the ownership, is allowing players to claim an ownership of a specific fantasy. Specific is important because if I tell you that you're a bounty hunter in space, that creates a whole lot of images in people's heads. It allows you, and those images can conflict with other people, which creates an environment where players can intentionally or unintentionally be incentivized to push other people's visions down so they can push forward their own. However, if I tell you that you are an alien going on a post-apocalyptic Earth, hunting down the final remaining primitive humans to bring them to your interstellar zoo, that creates a very specific picture that allows everybody to self-regulate not only their own behavior, but to modify the situations created by others to ensure that everyone is making the experience that they came here to play in the first place. It feels like magic, and it is, even when you're dealing with this. And the final major component of running anything like this is bull. And we think of bull or bullshit as like what jerks do, but it turns out that having irrational confidence and being visibly, enthusiastically, unapologetically passionate about the things you create creates an environment where players feel safe to do the same, to be not who they've always been, but who they truly are. Even if what they truly are is 6 to 8 players, some of which are not pictured here, in the park doing a LARP of Billy Ocean. If I can run a Billy Ocean LARP on last day of GDC without dying, you can too. And failing that, you can hire me to do it. My name is Xalavier Jr. I'm happy to talk about anything I've discussed here, physical games, social design, and of course, I am very freelance. Thank you so much for listening.